Okay, let's just start with this number, $10 million. I mean, can you even wrap your head around that? That was the price tag for just 30 seconds of airtime during Super Bowl LX. And as wild as that sounds, it's honestly just the tip of the iceberg for what this event became.
Because let's be real, what happened at Levi's Stadium was so much more than just a football game. This was a full-blown cultural moment. We're talking about an event that completely rewrote legacies, smashed records, and basically set a new standard for what global entertainment even looks like.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, the historic championship itself. Then, we'll get into the defensive masterclass that won it all. After that, Bad Bunny's global stage for the halftime show, of course, the $10 million ads, and we'll wrap it all up with why this was, truly, so much more than a game.
All right, let's dive right in. A historic championship. What made Super Bowl LX such a landmark event? I mean, seriously, what made this game so special before it even kicked off? Well, for starters, this matchup was something nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. It was the most unlikely pairing in more than 50 years. Just look at these preseason odds. You had the Seahawks at 60-1, and then the Patriots, an absolutely mind-boggling 80-1. The fact that these were the two teams left standing is a story in itself, just an incredible tale of defying all the odds. So you've got this impossible matchup, and it leads to an absolutely epic on-field story. And the game really boiled down to one thing, a story of redemption and dominance, a true defensive masterclass. Okay, the final score says 29-13, but wow, the stats really paint the picture here. It was just brutal for New England. Look at this. Seattle played a perfectly clean game, 0 turnovers. The Patriots, they had 3. Their offense was completely suffocated, managing only 51 yards in the entire first half. And their QB, Drake May, was sacked 6 times. It was just a total shutdown, no other way to put it. And this wasn't just the Patriots having an off day. Not at all. The analysts really nailed it. I love this quote. One expert called it a deliberate architectural failure imposed by Mike Macdonald's defensive front. Think about that. Seattle didn't just play defense. They had a blueprint to systematically take apart New England's offense piece by piece. It was strategic genius. And that defensive performance, it set the stage for a couple of really incredible comeback stories. First up, you have the underdog QB, Sam Darnold, a guy pretty much everyone had written off. He becomes the first quarterback ever to win a Super Bowl after being on 5 different teams. Just amazing. And then the forgotten MVP, Kenneth Walker III. He runs for 135 yards and becomes the first running back in 28 years to be named Super Bowl MVP. It was a huge win for old-school smash-mouth football.
Oh, and we can't forget this number, 5. That's how many field goals Jason Myers, Seattle's kicker, nailed. It's a new Super Bowl record. And think about it. In a game totally dominated by defense, where every single point felt like a battle, Myers was absolutely money. Just perfect.
Okay, but the story of the Super Bowl was so much bigger than just what happened on the turf. Let's shift gears to Bad Bunny's global stage. The real question here is, why did this performance make history? What made it so significant? Here's the deal. Bad Bunny wasn't just another headliner. He was the first solo Latino artist to ever headline the Super Bowl halftime show. And his performance, it was almost entirely in Spanish. This was a huge deal. It wasn't just about the music. It was a very deliberate move by the NFL. They were making a statement, reaching out to a massive, growing global and Latino fan base. We're talking nearly 40 million fans right here in the US. And wow, he did not come alone. The list of guest stars was just insane. You had musical giants like Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin up there with him, and the cameos kept coming. We saw Cardi B, Pedro Pascal, Karl G, Jessica Alba. The list goes on. It was less of a concert and more of a massive cultural party. Now, we should be clear. This choice was not universally praised. It definitely sparked some debate. The decision to feature a performance almost entirely in Spanish led to a pretty direct reaction from the conservative organization Turning Point USA. They actually created their own counter-event, live streaming what they called an all-American halftime show with Kid Rock. It really just goes to show you how the Super Bowl has become a stage for these much bigger cultural conversations. And that brings us right back to where we started, the $10 million ads. I mean, the commercials are practically a sport in themselves now, right?
And this year, they were really a marketplace for nostalgia and new tech. It was this fascinating blend of looking back at the 90s while also looking forward.
So, who came out on top? Which ads did people actually like the most? Well, the data shows the big winner for likability was Ring, with their super clever search party ad. Right behind them, you had a classic from Budweiser, American Icons. And then Amazon's scary good spot for Alexa Plus, which, yeah, had Chris Hemsworth in it. Can't go wrong there. But if you had to pick one dominant trend from all the ads, it was hands down the celebrity reunion. Brands were pouring millions into getting old casts back together, hitting that nostalgia button hard for millennials and Gen X viewers. And the absolute best example of this had to be the Dunkin' ad. They got Ben Affleck to do this hilarious parody of Good Will Hunting, but they shot it like a 90s sitcom. The cast was just stacked. You had Jennifer Aniston and Matt LeBlanc from Friends, Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, and then out of nowhere, a cameo from Tom Brady himself. Just perfect. The other huge trend, Hollywood basically taking over. The Super Bowl is now, without a doubt, the biggest stage to launch a new blockbuster movie, and this year, they went all out.
Yeah, the studios dropped a bunch of trailers for some seriously huge movies, but the one that just blew up the internet, nobody saw it coming. It was a complete surprise from Netflix, The Adventures of Cliff Booth, a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They got Brad Pitt back, Quentin Tarantino writing, and then the real shocker, David Fincher directing. I mean, come on, that's a movie fan's dream right there.
So let's take a step back and put it all together. The game, the halftime show, the crazy expensive ads. What does it all add up to? Let's really break down what made this event more than a game.
You see, the legacy of this Super Bowl isn't just one single thing. It was this perfect storm of different elements. You had the powerful defensive storytelling on the field, that huge cultural spectacle at halftime, and this unbelievable commercial marketplace. Each piece was just as important as the others, in making the event what it was. I mean, just look at the milestones, one after another. 28 years. That's how long it had been since a running back won MVP. 5 teams, the unprecedented journey Sam Darnold took to get his ring. 5 field goals, a new kicking record. And all of it, every single moment, happened during an event where a 30-second ad cost a staggering $10 million. And that really leaves us with one big, fascinating question to think about. As the spectacle just keeps growing, the halftime shows get bigger, the ads get more and more expensive, the cultural debates get louder, is the Super Bowl still really about the game itself? Or has it transformed into something else, something bigger? That's the real takeaway from Super Bowl LX.